the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the Southeast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. We are live here in our home studio in Pembroke Center at, the show. It's sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate. And I have my sidekick with me this morning. Hello, hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah. So here I am again.
Here you are.
Yep. I promised that I would be back, and I was off last weekend. So,
well, you'll be back next weekend.
I will be back next weekend for sure.
We'll be back next weekend together.
Yes, I will. And of course, we have our favorite producer in studio at WATD. Good morning, Tim McKinney.
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
And I have to tell you, I enjoyed the show last weekend. I was listening in as we were going to visit my dad, and I loved like all the the music.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It was really fun. Yeah, that was a really
the dating game.
The dating game. Yes.
I know. I don't know what we're talking about, but yeah, we were playing the dating game.
Talking
pretty
about
much.
Playlists.
Oh yeah.
The sound. Remember?
Oh yeah, Tracy's got some dirty songs on her. Well, you know what? That's why with the playlists here that we have, we play music here at the office. That we have to just make sure it's. We have the public coming in too, so it's got to be a little appropriate. So we try to find like music for a work day playlist and things like that. So
I think I played Anita Frank. Is it Anita Frank? What's her name? Franklin. What is it? Aretha. What is wrong?
Come on,
Sharon.
Aretha.
I am so tired right now. I'm sorry,
She's
Aretha.
going to strike you with a bolt of lightning from up above.
No.
You don't know my name.
I know. My goodness. So Aretha Franklin radio I put on yesterday. So
nice.
That's sort of safe, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So good morning. Beautiful sunny day. And as always, we love to take things to the show that have sort of happened or are coming up or, things that we should be aware of. So we have a great topic, I believe, today. We're going to be talking about home inspections. So really getting down and deep into home inspections and also talking most importantly about the new state regulation that's going into effect. It's going into effect supposedly October 15th.
Supposedly.
I don't feel like they're ready for it, but whatever. They've been talking about it since August, and they keep on pushing it off. We still have no forms, but that's part of our show for today. But of course, if you have any questions for us, I actually talked to Rob about it on air yesterday with Rob Hackler on his show too, and he had some really good questions too. And one of his questions was, are the real estate agents happy about this? It's not that we're unhappy about it. It's just we wish that it was prepared and packaged a little bit better so we feel prepared for October 15th.
Well, even the other day when we were taking our class, we've taken a couple classes on this, and as time goes by, you learn a little bit more, but then you also realize like, okay, is this really better?
No.
Is this really with the question of, the time frame and thing, and we'll get into this about, offers and how much time you put in your offer to have a home inspection. If you choose to, it's like, there's always going to be this whole, like, okay, well, if we do this, then they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
know, and if
Yeah.
we do this, then they're gonna know that away, and it's just, is it really fair? Like, the whole point of this was supposed to have an even playing field for everybody,
And
and
yeah.
I don't necessarily think that it is.
It's supposed to be, it should be, and the problem is that there are still agents who have, voices and mouths, and people are gonna talk,
Yeah.
and just hope that they don't get caught. It will not be any of the agents here at Boston Connect Real Estate for sure, but we can't control, all the things that happen out there, and I think it's just a matter of time where
Yeah.
those conversations. So I feel like we have a nail biter sort of conversation. People are like, "What is the change? What is the change?" You can be, if you have any questions for us, call Tim at the studio and he will get you over to us, 781-837-4900. So either about home inspections in general or this new law that's going to be coming into effect, which we're going to get into in a minute here, or anything else related to real estate, because, I've been doing it for 24 years. So I have a couple answers maybe I could come up with to help you in anything that might be on your mind this morning. 781-837-4900. And if you're shy and you don't want to talk to us, you could text that same phone number to Tim and he can read your question for us. Of course, we're on all of our social media, so you can find us on YouTube Live, you can find us on Instagram Live, you can find us on Facebook pages. You can go to my personal page, Sharon Costa McNamara. You can go to Boston Connect Real Estate. So you can find us everywhere. And if you only catch part of the show today because you're off and running to all the, kids events or
Open houses.
open houses, doing your errands, whatever you're doing, you can always go back to WATD's website. They have a podcast, and you can go to our podcast app or online, talkrealestateroundtable.com. So
Yep.
that's what I got. So, all right, let's talk about one of the biggest changes that's going to be hitting Massachusetts real estate this fall. Starting on October 15th, a brand new home inspection law goes into effect, and it's going to change how offers are written and accepted across the state.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I'll just get into a little bit of what exactly the law says. Okay. So we'll start with that first. So sellers and their agents, so a seller's agent can no longer require buyers to waive a home inspection just to get their offer accepted. Now, here's the thing. There is no agent in Boston Connect Real Estate that ever required anybody to drop their home inspection. So
Mm-hmm.
if you hear that, you were falsely weaved into a situation. Now in our office, this became, and I'm going to talk about why it became so popular as well, to have a to not have a home inspection and to waive your home inspection. As we were getting multiple offers, and there was low inventory, the rates were low, everybody was putting, I mean, you were in situations with 10, 12, we had 26 offers on some properties, right?
Yep.
So the way that it worked is, the buyers felt like, all right, well, how can I make my offer stand out from everybody else's? Now, the big thing used to be cash. I can't compete against cash. Here's the truth of it all, folks. People, it's cash once it belongs to the seller,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if it goes through a bank or if it comes from your bank account directly. Okay. So people were like, I can't compete with cash. I'm going to offer $10,000 over asking. Then the next person's like, I'm going to offer $20,000 over asking. We had some that were $100,000 over asking. Okay. Ridiculous in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it falsely inflated our prices, but that's what happened. But then buyers were like, well, what can I do? I don't have an extra $100,000. They're like, I'm going to waive my home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounded like a great idea for the buyers at that time, right? I'm going to waive my home inspection. And that's what they started to do. Now, the question may have been posed to their agent, hey, how am I ever going to get this done? Right? This is a question that you posed, right?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? You were in a completely different situation, though, because we know so many people in the field, right?
Yeah.
But then people were like, well, if you waive your home inspection, possibly people will look at it more closely. When this started to become the trend, we had, remember, a meeting at my office, at the house. We brought all of our top producers over there. We had a little cookout, and we said, under no circumstances are you to advise anybody to waive their home inspection in order to get their offer accepted.
Mm-hmm.
If they choose to do that, and they may, we have another waiver that says, this was my bright idea,
Yeah.
not yours.
Well, first I want to get back to your comment about, oh, I don't have an extra $100,000 that maybe I'll waive my home inspection. Just the thought of that is like, you're almost,
Mhm.
if you put that out there, then you're sort of saying like, oh, waiving my home inspection makes up for $100,000. I don't want $100,000 worth of problems at my
No,
house.
exactly.
Like, I would say if you unfortunately couldn't come up $100,000, then that is not the house for you because
Mhm.
I mean that's why I was sort of chuckling over here because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't really even think of that before of
Yeah,
like,
how pathetic
oh, I
that is.
can't come up $100,000, but I'll waive my home inspection. Well, really hope that there's not $100,000 worth of work that needs to be done because
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
silly.
And for sellers to think that too, I'm sure that most sellers would have said, I'll take the $100,000 and, roll the dice with the
Hmm.
home inspection. Um, but sorry about that, folks, as I just coughed in everybody's ear. So the other things what the law says, buyers also can't come in waiving, I'll skip the inspection flag front as part of their offer. So now what's changing is, and this is what we're waiting for, okay? We're waiting for the state because this is a state regulation. We talked at nauseum about the NAR settlement last year, right? And how they were making regulations, okay, regulations from our association, National Association of Realtors. They're different folks, okay? Being part of NAR makes you a realtor. If you're not part of NAR, you're not a realtor. It doesn't matter. You're still a real estate agent for the
Hmm.
state of Massachusetts, right?
Hmm.
This is a law by the state of Massachusetts that's coming in front of us, okay? So now we're waiting for the forms. There's going to be two forms. One is going to be a disclosure, which we'll get into a little bit more detailed. But now, so if somebody put an offer in today, on there is a offer, a contingency of one of many things, one being a home inspection,
Hmm.
okay? One is a mortgage contingency and there's others. So the home inspection on there, what people would do is they would waive their home inspection, but that will no longer be, you won't be able to do that. So if the seller receives 10 offers, let's say, even if they get two, no matter how many they get, the seller will be accepting this offer, not having knowledge or not if the person is going to be having a home inspection or not.
Into buyer indicate whether or not the buyer is going to be performing a home inspection or not. So
Mhm.
when we first mentioned many moons ago, it what the talk was, okay, the whole entire section, the language was being taken out of the offer completely, and then you just let them know after the fact if they're going to have a home inspection or not. Now that section is going to remain, but it's going to be worded differently. So you are always going to be required as a buyer's agent and as a buyer to put a time frame in that section. So you're going
Mhm.
to be required to say, okay, home inspection within 5 days or 7 days or whatever. Even if you have no intention to do it, you have to indicate a time frame.
But this is the part that's confusing. So we were at the same exact class, and I'm not sure that's going to be on the offer anymore.
Yeah, no, it is.
I don't know that it will be. I feel like because if you're and that's where my question came, and I
Mm-hmm.
talked to, I asked a question during the class, like, do I have so many days to ask,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yes, I'm going to go forward with the home inspection, or I'm not going to have so many days. And here's the thing, here we are sat at the same class. The broker owner and you are the director of operations, and we are still confused.
So
Or
in the
maybe it's just
class,
me.
well, in the class, that the reason why the question was brought up, what if someone puts 1 day? What if someone puts
Yeah.
5 days?
I didn't know if that was something after the
No,
fact.
so it's your offer will it'll still have that section, but you are required to fill in a day.
So
However,
within
you want
10
to
days, I'm
yeah,
gonna have a home
within
inspection.
yeah,
So what we'll say, everybody's having a home inspection, whether they are or not. So they're gonna have to change some type of verbiage
yeah.
on that because not everybody still is going to have one.
And the reason is because that's your contingency period. So that's why when we were talking, they said, okay, on day one, say you put 5 days. On day one, you let the listing agent know that you've decided not to do a home inspection. You still have 4 additional days to
Mhm.
change your mind.
Yeah.
So on day 3, you can say, oh, you know what? I really do want to. Then you let the listing agent know, hey, we're actually going to have a home inspection. So that's why we were talking about like the clock sort of running out.
Mhm.
So it's sort of like you have that's why, when someone was like, oh, when you present your offers to your clients, that the offer that says 1 day for a home inspection contingency and one that says 10 days for a home inspection contingency, most likely the one that says 1 day is not going to have a home inspection.
Reasonable.
Yes.
Reasonable.
And it has to be reasonable.
It has to be reasonable. You have to give reasonable amount of time. I remember that aspect. All right. So again, we have to see the state forms. This disclosure. We have to see if we get our forms through MAR, which is Massachusetts Association of Realtors, to see if they're going to be making any adjustments to that. I suppose I wasn't sure if the home inspection was going to be. I know we have a separate disclosure for the home inspection, similar to the lead paint form. So it's on there. It says that you are given a 10-day opportunity to have these inspections. I thought that was going to be on the disclosure that we're waiting for from the state, so that the seller would sign it first, because it has to be before a contract saying I am giving people an opportunity to have it. So I guess we'll have to wash it.
For my understanding of the written disclosure is it must be provided before or at signing of the first contract, so at the offer. And it sort of affirms that the acceptance of the buyer's offer is not contingent on waiving a home inspection. The buyer has the right to have a home inspection, and the buyer will have a reasonable opportunity to review inspection results and withdraw if needed. So I think that my understanding of the disclosure was you have it's the seller saying, we understand the buyer has a right to do a home inspection, and the buyer signs it as well, saying, yes, I know that I have a right to a home inspection.
Yeah.
I know that Faith is watching. Faith Birmingham is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She was in our class. So Faith, if
Settle
you
the score here.
Settle the score here.
Can she call in? Faith, can you call in? 781-837-4900.
Yeah, call in.
781-837-4900.
How
come we can't see it up on
and
there?
Michelle Faith. Because that is Boston Connect, and I'm watching yours.
Oh, okay.
Christopher Bethany is watching as well. Hi,
Hey,
Christopher.
So let's backtrack again to our listeners. Well, we want Faith to call in if she can. 781-837-4900. We know she's getting ready for Hanson Day today. Her and her husband, Rob Birmingham, too. They're both going to have tables there. 781-837-4900. Faith, if you can call in, that would be great. All right. So just a recap is that the sellers and their agents can no longer require buyers to waive a home inspection just to get their offer accepted. Buyers can't come in waiving the I'll skip inspection flag upfront as part of their offer. And every seller now has to give a written disclosure reminding buyers they have the right to hire a licensed inspector. So the interesting part of this right now is, did she answer?
No, but I Googled it.
Oh, okay.
Here's Faith.
Hello, Faith.
Is this Faith?
Yes, it is.
Hi. Good morning, Faith.
Good morning, Faith. She's going to hate us on Monday.
I
But
know.
you won't be here on Monday, but I'll be here on Monday. So Faith, what did you get out of it? Did you just hear us sort of, I'm confused about?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
I'm with you. I'm a little bit confused. I think the state really needs to put some specific dates in there for us. I think it's just going to leave too much. Well, I don't know. I feel like there's just too many questions right now.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and it said, yes, a home inspection is still expected to be a part of the offers in Massachusetts. The new law enacted in 2025 protects buyers' right to have an inspection. So it's still going to be in there, saying the buyer still has a right to do a home inspection within this time period. But during that time period, you can let them know that you're not doing a home inspection.
Okay.
However,
But they're not. Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I said, but they're not designating an appropriate time period. They're
Right.
leaving that up to.
Yes, and that was the discussion of, well, why isn't it just a blanketed amount of time? Like, why can't this the contract just have a standard 5, 7 days, 10 days?
Well, if the 10-day one, I guess they had conversations about that, because that's what lead paint is, right? It's a 10-day period that you're given to have these inspections, right? So I think that they should, if you want to make this fair, and this is, hey, Governor Haley, I'd love for you to come on my show. If you wouldn't mind coming on my show, WATD would love for you to be my guest and really just sit down and get down and dirty with us on this topic, because this is how I feel too, is I think a lot of these ideas have really good reasons behind them. Hey, we 100% as an office agree everybody should have the right to have a home inspection. No one should have one leg up because they're not having a home inspection. We're the ones that are selling real estate. So we're like the people on the bottom of the totem pole, and people like Mara Haley, who are putting these big, important bills into place, they're at the top. So I think, Mara Haley, here is a full invitation to you from me, Sharon McNamara, to be on our show. Tim, do you think that would be okay if Mara joined us one day?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, perfect. See, Tim's on board. We're all on board here. And just help us
You're
understand.
respectable ladies. I don't see why she'd have a problem.
You know what's so funny is that I changed my wording in my question, and now I'm getting no. That's so crazy, because and it's funny that the both of us could sit in the same class and have a different take on it, because
the instructor was confused, right, Faith?
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, so
I think there's too many questions that still need to be answered, and we're not really.
And when is October 15th? Yeah, October 15th is in 18 days. So
whether the wording is on the actual offer, and this is how I'm taking it now after 2 seconds of talking about it, whether the wording and the contingency, I'll put in air quotes, is on the offer or on the addendum, they both have to be presented at the same time.
Yes.
So it's part of the offer,
yes,
in my opinion.
Yes.
So you can, I think you could be proactive and give the addendum first, is what we talked about, but it has to be in place before the offer is accepted or at the time the offer is accepted. So in my opinion, it is a part of the offer. Whether it's written on the page that says offer to purchase or it's written on the addendum, they both need to be together in order for it to be accepted.
Exactly.
So,
and we just don't know what that's going to look like. And Faith, I'm with you, because I feel like the way that you were going, the path that you were almost taking to, is there's going to be this is put in place, and this is why I would love to talk to Mara Haley about this, Governor, is that it was put in place because there are so many buyers out there saying, I'm not willing to give up my home inspection, but my agent or the market is telling me I can't get my offer accepted unless I do waive my inspection. So now people are looking for a loophole all the time, right? None of us here at Boston Connect. But don't you agree? So Faith, you could put an offer in on a house and your buyer would say, all right, let's just put 1 day in there. They know that that's not a reasonable amount of time to not only get your offer accepted, but also find a home inspector who can do your inspection that afternoon or the next morning, right? So the seller would probably think, they're probably not even going to be doing a home inspection, right? Versus somebody else who's like, oh, I need 7 days to do it. Yeah. See, I'm on the same thing with you too, Faith, with that. So did you have anything else, Faith? Do you want to stay with us, or go ahead, keep talking?
No, it's not fixing the unfair advantage. I don't think it's going to fix the problem.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, it might help it may help, but I know that we're going to see those offers come across our desks with the 1 or 2 day.
Yeah. Well, who I think it's going to hurt, Faith? I think it's going to hurt people like us who follow and abide by state regulations. That's who it's going to hurt, because I'm letting you know out loud, there is nothing in me that does not believe that agents are going to have conversations with each other outside of this written contract. That we have friends. I've been in this business for 24 years. I can think of one agent that I've done business with. He's not in this general area, but he's down in another area. I'm not even going to say where he is. But you have a conversation with him and he'll say, Sharon, this is the number I need to get to in order for your offer to get accepted. And it's like, well, we shouldn't even really be talking like that, right? You know what I mean? So there's nothing in me that doesn't believe that agent or another agent with a similar type mindset is the mindset of let's just get the deal done is going to say, Faith, if we're going to get, and I'm looking at your thing and, hey, Faith, I just want to let you know I got your offer. I also have 4 others and I just want to have conversations with everybody. Is your client planning on having an inspection or not? And then you can respond and say, I'll tell you, Sharon, they really are not planning on it, or they want to do on informational purposes. We're not going to do that. There is nothing in me that thinks that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing in me that believes that that's not going to happen. So how do you stop that from happening? Is our state in a position where we can have more testers out there, testing agents to make sure that these things aren't happening? Because I 100% agree that something has to be done in order to make it more affordable for home buyers, first-time home buyers in particular, and not only in the state of Massachusetts, but from Massachusetts to freaking Dallas, Texas, right where my daughter is, right? So I'll talk about her home inspection too. But Faith, anything else you want to sort of put into this topic before we let you sort of introduce yourself and tell everybody where you're going to be today?
No, I think you're very passionate, Sharon. You covered it all. You covered it all.
Thank you. Yeah, I get all worked up about these things because, again, and I'm sort of kidding, but I'm sort of not. Like, Mara, I would love for you to just sit with a bunch of agents, come do a roundtable at our office, and we'll tell you the pros, the cons, and the in betweens. Because when you're only seeing things from a lens that's very, very high on the totem pole, it all makes sense maybe on a blackboard, but when you're in the field, does it actually work? And before we make big decisions like, okay, everything changes October 15th, but we have no idea what that is actually going to look like, I don't think it's healthy for anybody. I think it's going to hurt more people than the people she's trying to protect right now.
Yeah.
Right. So Faith, tell everybody a little bit about who you are. Of course, you're a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She is one of the best in my opinion. That's why I hand over my little torch to her a lot of weekends, and she helps me over at Cushing Trails and Cochise occasionally too, to help with our open houses. So if you want to get in touch with Faith, her phone number is Faith
781-831-2692.
Perfect. And then tell everybody where you're today.
I am going to be at Hanson Day at the Indian Head School. It starts at 11, runs till 2. Lots of Hanson businesses and vendors will be there. Pretty excited. I have a Boston Connect tent, and I'm going to set it up with some goodies, some giveaways, and a cute little fall raffle.
Awesome. Yeah. So if anybody wanted to
see everybody there.
Yeah, if anybody's thinking about, hey, this is a great time to think about getting an evaluation done on your house, or if you feel like, hey, maybe I'm going to be putting my house on the spring, right now is the time to think about that. And she's going to have a handsome handyman, so to speak, in a tent nearby, I'm assuming. But it's a great opportunity. What a team Faith and her husband, Rob, make together, because a lot of times when we're going through houses, there's a lot of little things that need to be done and bigger things like I get with the plumbing. So Rob and Faith make a great team in that aspect, where they can help sellers get their homes prepared to come on the market. But if you're thinking about doing that in the spring, right now is a good time to be thinking about all those things that need to be done. We've been talking about it the past couple of weeks. So everybody listening on WATD and everywhere else, go down and see Faith and Rob at the Indian Head School in Hanson today for Hanson Days. And what time is it start again?
Starts at 11 and it runs through 2 o'clock.
Perfect. So everybody go and see Faith and Rob, and have fun. Faith, what a beautiful day you got for it.
I'm excited.
Beautiful day.
It's a perfect day.
Have fun and go get some swag, everyone.
Yeah, go get some swag.
Oh yeah.
Go meet Faith.
Go meet Faith. Get some swag.
All right.
Thank you so much, Faith. Have fun today.
Yes. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I just want to know, I'm still in the mindset of it's going to be in the offer, because when we're talking about that separate paper, we're talking about an
addendum.
No, it's a disclosure form.
Yeah.
So, and it's provided by the seller initially. So that's why we were talking about it being attached to MLS and easily accessible. It's signed by the seller first, and then it's signed by the buyer. And the purpose of this disclosure is to let the seller, letting everybody know, okay, yeah, the buyer has the right to a home inspection, and then both sides must sign, which guarantees the buyer a reasonable opportunity to obtain and review home inspection.
and I understand where your mind is going, but that is exactly what the lead paint disclosure says, right? The property transferred lead notification form, which is required. We do the same exact thing with that as a seller.
Yeah.
If the house was built before 1978, there is a chance that there's lead paint in it.
Yeah.
We check off that that they're going to be given a 10-day opportunity, right? Like, but no, here's the thing. That part isn't even checked off for the buyer yet. It's just the response of the seller saying, I don't know if there's anything, but they can waive it.
And here's the thing, that disclosure doesn't say whether or not the buyer is going to do a lead paint test. The offer does.
Exactly. So I don't know. See what I mean? There's still a lot of figuring out to do. But if you are listening and if you have any ideas or suggestions about this, and again, if anybody from the state is listening, Mara, you're my girl. I swear to God, I feel Mara Haley is a governor. She is an attorney, and I want to know if she ever did real estate law, because I feel like I had a transaction with her one time, like in Quincy or something, but I don't know. I could be mistaken. Okay. So here is the kicker. The contracts can't contain language that makes inspections meaningless, like giving buyers 1 hour on a weekday to check the house. So the disclosure, like the seller is going to have to sign this disclosure that says we understand that you have this opportunity. P.S. Everybody who has bought a house in Massachusetts for the last eons of years, if you bought a house as a buyer, you should have been also given the facts for consumers sheet. Well, here's another one that the state should be changing, because there's nowhere to even have it sign it. We are required as agents to give that to our buyer clients when they are purchasing a home. And it has in there the facts for consumers regarding home inspections. We have a section on ours where we put in a signature for the buyers to sign that, but you should have gotten that. So you always had that right to have a home inspection. Okay.
Now, excuse me, Sharon. Yeah. What was your question on Mara Healy?
Was she
what kind of law did she practice?
Did she originally do any real estate law?
I thought she was a prosecutor.
Yes. After graduating from law school, she worked as a business and commercial litigator, Wilmer Hale LLP. She then served as a prosecutor at the Middlesex District Attorney's Office and later joined the Attorney General's Office as Chief of the Civil Rights Division and Chief of the Public Protection and Business and Labor Bureaus.
Wow, she's really smart.
Healy spent 8 years as the Massachusetts Attorney General before being elected governor in 2022.
Okay, yeah, so that's a hard no. Yeah. Well, there's someone out there in the Milton area, Quincy area, that looks just like her.
We'll have to let her know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and again, like I said, I mean, my thing is, and again, I'm sort of kidding. Like, I would love to have a conversation with her. I would love to have her have a roundtable with our agents. Hey, just get down in deep with just a bunch of real estate agents that see every single angle. And that's our office. We're a small boutique. We're all about the relationship, right? That's true. Getting trademarked right now. It's all about the relationship. We are, holding hands and hugging our clients through this whole entire process. And I would love someone from the state, down and talk to the agents who are actually, working out there right now. Not the ones that are volunteering, you know what I mean? Because I volunteer as well, but like not those people just on boards,
Yeah.
So, the other thing, I know, were you going to say something about that?
No, I just really wish we had the forms so we knew what was going on.
Yeah. Now a buyer can still decide after the fact to skip an inspection, but it has to be their choice, not a condition of getting the house. And that's what we're talking about. So what we know for sure is that there will be a separate disclosure that will be created by the state of Massachusetts, and it will have in there that the seller is understanding fully that the buyer has the right to have a home inspection. That form, the best way has to be signed by buyer and seller before contract. Okay. Before the contract is looked at, before it's accepted, before anything. The best way that I feel like everybody is sort of agreeing with this part of it, is the best way for that to happen for homes that are in MLS. There's a lot of off-market homes, right? For homes that are on the market in MLS, when I am getting a new listing, I will go to my client with all of my listing agreements. That disclosure will be part of it. And then I will take that form and we will upload it into MLS. Then, if somebody wants to put an offer on that property, I will be able to say the disclosure is attached to MLS.
Yeah.
We can also attach forms to showing time. So if agents use showing time, which our office does, we can attach the form there as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of agents that don't even know that this is going to happen.
I had a discussion the other day and I just said, take a class. But now here we are.
And here we are giving our own.
We took two different thoughts, but
and then there are a few carve outs like family transfers, foreclosures, or new builds that come with a 1-year warranty. So we'd have to get more information on that. Now, with me doing a lot of new construction, of course, this was one of my thoughts. It's like, we can't, okay, here you have a reservation on this lot that doesn't even have a foundation in it. Now we've put the foundation in, we've built the house per your design, your design choices. You can have a home inspection, but that's going to have to be decided right at the beginning, because this is when, for the home inspection, they can have the home inspection when the house could be lived in, but it doesn't have the occupancy permit yet.
yeah.
That's when you have to give them the right to have that home inspection. But if you are doing new construction, a lot of times the builder is, doing a final walkthrough with you. They're teaching you all the mechanicals and all the things about the house anyways. Again, and I'm not telling anyone they can't waive it, but this is, again, you're listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Sharon McNamara. I'm the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, and our show is sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate. We are here every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. We love to talk real estate. That's why we named the show Talk Real Estate. We just happened to be sitting at a round table, so our producer over at WATD this morning, 837-4900. Any questions for us, whether it has to do with this new law, if it has anything to do with home inspections in general, or you just have a general conversation or question for us regarding real estate, please give us a ring-a-ling, and we'd love to talk to you. And if you're a little bashful, don't worry about it. You can send us a message on social media feeds, or you can text that number 781-837-4900, and Tim will read your question for us.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, well, there we go.
So we've definitely talked about the law for the majority of the show. And
I think it's important too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we just talked 43 minutes. Well, our commercials or whatever at the beginning, but talked 40 minutes about a law that's going into effect on October 15th. We have now taken 2 classes on this, right? With 2 attorneys. Well, one was with an attorney, Amy Mesvar from Brad Mahoney's office, Mahoney Law Group out in well. Amy, she class. We just went to Chris Law had one with John Harrington from Loan Depot. They had invited us, which was very, very nice, down in Plymouth at Alden Park. They had Braden, and they had a Massachusetts licensed, instructor that gave it. She was stumped by some of the questions. So we've taken 2 classes on it. We've read everything. We've ChatGPT'd it to death. And there are still some unanswered questions. So and again, for someone like me who likes everything to be sort of in order, it does give me a little angst that when are you coming out with the disclosure? When are the forms going to be finalized? Because I have an office of agents that I have to train on this. So I don't think it gives us, don't rush it. I just wish at this point we would wait until January, get all the forms ready, and don't wait until the week before to continue to work on those forms, continue to work on whatever the heck it is that you're working on.
Yeah.
And roll it out in January.
Yeah. I just wish that we had everything so we could do our part.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about too is like what are some of the pros and cons of this? So what could go right with this whole new law and what could be hard? And then next week, if we get through all this, but if we don't get to the home inspections, maybe we get in detail like what a home inspection is
Yeah.
and the different parts you can do. So some of the benefits and the pros of this new law is, more informed buyers, fewer surprise repairs post closing. So this is more, in fact, for the people who chose to waive their home inspection because they felt that there was no other way for their offer to get accepted, that they did that. I'm pretty convinced. Do you think that sellers will now do a pre-home inspection?
No.
You don't? Why is that?
I just go back to even before the law, like everybody interprets things differently. Clearly, look at us, but
Mhm.
like what's important to one person might not be important to another, or another person might find something important that a seller doesn't.
Mhm.
So, we did talk about pre-home inspections in our class, and things that are disclosable items. If the seller takes care of them, do they have to disclose it after the fact? Again, it just I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
as a seller, like, yeah, I'd like to know what's going on with my house, but like, why spend the money type of thing?
Yeah.
Like, if they don't have it, I would say
Mhm.
no.
You know what I want to do right now is if you could talk a little bit more about that. I'm gonna text my friend Anna from Anna is in where is she? Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and they do the pre-home inspection all the time. And I want to get her sort of response on why it's such a great idea because she has it down. About pre-home inspections. And why don't you talk a little bit about like the negatives for a home inspection if, a lot of things come up in a home inspection for the seller while I'm texting her to see if she
As
can
a
call in.
pre-home
Yeah,
inspection,
as a
if then
pre-home inspection,
yeah,
yeah.
I would say that if there are a lot of things that come up, then the cost of repair, like, those things need repair, or say there's mold, like that's a disclosable item.
Mhm.
Um, if you happen to do a radon test and find that there's radon in the basement, that's a disclosable item. So you either have to disclose it and leave it up to the buyer to either ask for it to be remediated or fixed, or they can take on that responsibility, or you have to do it yourself because you haven't found somebody who will take on that responsibility. So I would say that if there's a lot of things that come up in a home inspection, I would feel like that might be overwhelming to somebody who's just trying to sell their house.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, my friend Anna, she is in Pennsylvania, and they like all of her clients do it. And we've had this conversation going back and forth all the time. We have and I've had her on the show before, talking about this. And I just wonder, if you do have a pre-home inspection, now you don't have to worry as a seller of like what is going to come up, right? Um, so I think that, you know, of course, if there's anything major, you have to disclose it anyways. But I think sellers are afraid to do it around here because they're like, what comes up?
Mhm.
So she did text and she said that she would call, but she's in the car, so she isn't sure about her reception. So I just told her to call in and we can check that out. So um, and that's what she'll call and tell us about that. Because, the pros of it would be, okay, there are a bunch of little things that are going to come up. So at least you can get those things taken care of beforehand. Hello. This is Anna. Anna.
Hello, Anna.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Anna. It's Sharon. Obviously, you know that. So, Anna, say your last name.
Abbott Marco.
Abadamarco. Okay, perfect. So we have Anna, a nice Irish girl, Abadamarco, on the phone with us. And so here we are, Anna, doing my show live. I just texted you. You're such a good friend. I love you dearly. We disagree on
Thank
this often. And I just need your
Yeah,
take on it because we just finished up some classes and law is changing in Massachusetts where the seller that no longer will we have on our forms, the sellers will never know if the buyer is going to have a home inspection or not until after the
right.
contract is accepted. So I said to Melissa, who is here, my sidekick, I said, do
Mhm.
you think that sellers will have pre-home inspections beforehand to sort of alleviate any of those thoughts? She said,
Mhm.
no, she doesn't think it. Again, I don't know if this is just because that's what we're familiar with, but I want your
Right.
take, sort of a quick take on it, because I know you're in the car and
Mhm.
you might
Yeah.
break up. What are the benefits of doing that for a seller?
Oh, so many benefits. So here's how I explain it to my clients, and never do I require that they have a pre-inspection done. Only that I educate, explain the pros and cons, and I will tell you that 99% of the time, my sellers do choose to have it done after they're educated on it. So the pros of it, you're not necessarily looking to like hide anything, are you, as a homeowner, right? You want things to go smoothly. So if you are putting your home on market next month and you have this time right now to have a pre-inspection done before it goes live and people start coming to see it, wouldn't you want that time to research contractors, to maybe even do it yourself if you're capable, right? To get some things done at the time before you go to market is just one simple reason why. Another reason why, when you disclose, it's like buying a car with the Carfax. When you have more than your seller's disclosure, you have a neutral third party, preferably OSHI certified, reputable home inspection company that is saying whatever it is that they're saying about your home. You can now get offers that are based on that information. So let's say you don't know that they're going to get an inspection, or they might get an inspection, right? And you provide this pre-home inspection. You can ahead of time negotiate that this offer is based on what we have already disclosed. And only if you find something above and beyond this, or ask for it now, what it is that you want based on this report, but only if you find additional things with your own inspector will we consider negotiating. There's so many reasons why, as a homeowner, I want to know anything negative about my house before the buyer does, so that I can make the best decisions for myself. I can prepare for it. Right here, we have a lot of homes are on septic systems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about your area, but here, you need a new septic system, you're about $30,000.
Yeah.
I don't want my sellers, who are also generally buyers, they're going somewhere else to buy something, and I don't want them basing their future decisions on the value of the home that we discussed without predetermining any larger ticket items. And then they're in a situation where they're already under contract for another home, only now to find out you need a new septic system. And now the buyer's walked away because they can't wait the 2 months it's going to take for you to perk and permit and
Yeah.
install,
So with
right?
us too,
So
like,
those
so
are my
we,
reasons.
yeah, we have the big ticket, the Title 5, and we do all that too. This one here is like the home inspection. And one of the things I'm thinking about as you're talking as well, and this is one of the things I love about having conversations with you, is because you test my mind and, you make me think of perspective, right? So one
Yeah.
of the things that I'm thinking about for sellers is, you're never going to know if the person on the opposite side of that contract is going to want to have a home inspection or not. So let's just say you pick the home, and again, we're coming from this from where's the loophole. But now we're going to have people who are going to have artificially inflated prices again, because you're not going to choose my offer based on the fact I'm waiving my home inspection. So now I'm going to go $50,000 over asking. But I
Right.
feel people might just put that high number in, have their home inspection,
Yeah.
have all this stuff come up, and then reduce the price by $25,000, right? So there's another angle of this. However,
Mhm.
if we took the approach like Anna does in her market, then hey, maybe a pre-home inspection gets you where you are. Ha ha, buyers. You don't know that we've already done this pre-home inspection. We came up with that faulty water line also, but we've already fixed it. So now you're putting your offer $50,000 over asking, based on the fact that you're going to try to renegotiate after home inspection. But joke's on you. We already did a pre-home inspection and there's nothing for you to really renegotiate on. Right? Does that make sense, Anna?
Especially if you're negotiating that, because I do share that report with any buyer prior to them submitting their offer. By the way, I also like it as a tax debt because I don't upload that information to the MLS on purpose.
Yeah.
Too much information and agents who don't read everything and don't understand why it's there.
Yeah.
So by the time you say you like the house, your buyers like the house, they want to make an offer, I then send them the report. It now delays them about a day in submitting their offer because they now have all this additional information to review. I like that because I don't want my homes to be under contract in 24 hours. I like 72 hours generally and a little more to get more buyers through, right? So that time for them to review is helpful in the negotiation. The ability to say, I don't care if you bring your own home inspector. I care that we negotiate up front.
Yes.
That you have reviewed this information. You're either asking me to do 1, 2, and 3, or you're not, but you're not asking after the fact for me to fix the things I've already disclosed to you.
Yeah. The other thing too, and I have literally 30 seconds left before we have to go and talk about our open houses though. But let me ask you this, because Mackenzie, my daughter, just had an offer accepted in whatchamacallit, in Dallas. And one of the things with her offer and what they're doing, and they're going to be doing this here in Massachusetts, is this time frame that you have to have this inspection, right? But if you don't go forward with your inspection, there's going to be this fee. So like Mackenzie put an offer in and it was like, if I decide not to go forward, I'm going to give the seller $200. Do you have that as well?
Really?
No.
You don't have
I've
that?
never heard of that.
That's so silly. That's what they have there, and I could have sworn that's what she brought up in the Massachusetts thing. But Anna, again, thank you so much. You're such a great friend.
Anytime.
I know I caught you sort of, on the wheel there driving.
No worries.
Give everybody just your contact information in the areas you serve, just in case any of our Massachusetts listeners are thinking about moving in your direction and need a very good real estate agent over there.
Thank you. Yeah, if you like to come to Chester County, Pennsylvania, I'm about 40 minutes west. I serve Chester County as well as surrounding counties, and my number is 610-314-5820.
Give that number one more time.
Yep, 610-314-5820.
Thank you so much, Anna. Have a great day. And if everybody didn't catch her information, we will be doing a blog on this, so you can always get that, or you can call me directly, and we'll make sure that we get it. So thank you, Anna. Have a great day. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you.
No problem. Take care.
Yep. So there you go. There's another angle of that, right? But see, it helped me think. Now what's going to happen? Now, okay, we can't waive our home inspection. We're going to have artificially inflated prices again, and people are just going to keep on going over and over. And then they're, what we're going to start seeing again more of? Higher prices. People are going to put in more money. Now you're trying to lower the prices in Massachusetts. Now we're going to have artificially inflated, right? Artificially inflated sale prices, along with, I bet you we start to see the appraisal contingency as well. So the house has to appraise at or above. And then people think that this is just that home inspections are meant for negotiation, and they're not. They are meant for you to find out about your home. So this was a great topic. We'll talk more about home inspections in general next week. We did talk about some of the pros and cons. Can you just talk real? I have an open house today. 234 Forest Street is my new listing. If you are looking for an ADU, this has a wonderful ADU attached to it. It's a 4-bedroom colonial with an in-ground swimming pool, a lot of updated mechanicals, new liner, and all that other stuff. It's in Pembroke. Yep, 234 Forest Street in Pembroke. I will be there today from 1 to 3. Again, it has an ADU, and that is on the market for $875. And of course, Cushing Trails and Cochise Estates every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 2 in West Bridgewater, 10 to 12 in Hanson.
We have a ton of other open houses, but you can follow us on social media, Boston Connect Real Estate on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find all of our open houses there. You can go to bostonconnect.com as well.
Perfect. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Tim. Have a great day.
You too.
I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood